All right, I'm going live. What is going on, crowdfunding fans? It's the brain of the mainframe, Nile Scala, here with another exciting episode of Crowdfunding Comics with the man, the myth, the legend. The guy never sleeps. He's a machine, a drawing machine, an illustrator of light. Mr. Billy Tucci, how are we doing this evening, my friend?
Oh, thank you, my friend. Yes, I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. This is your world, my friend. But the cool thing is we would like to welcome to our crowdfunding centurions and crusaders all across the world now, because we're starting to get a lot more international viewers. And thank you very much, guys.
Yes, we are.
In to do that. And but this is our 32nd episode, my friend. And for 32nd, we have not one but two wonderful guests tonight. And I think that they've arrived from the farthest regions of space, where they've tussled with some intergalactic baddies, blasted their way through hordes of enemy starships, and collected huge bounties for their reckless behaviors of getting the job done. So without further ado, it is our great pleasure to introduce our friends Jemma M and Mr. Chad Hardin. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
This is a great show. All right, we'll see you, everyone.
Night.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for coming on, guys. And
you.
it's great to see you. Congratulations on your successful Kickstarter project. But you've got 16 days left, so it's far from over. But you've already got 333 backers. And how much have they made already?
$16,679, and you were looking for a goal of 8,500. So you guys are on fire right now.
Yes.
Yep.
But we want to push that over even more. If you guys out there, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming on at this time. I know it seems, Nile, right in the past 3 months or so since we started the show, that 9 p.m. weekdays seems to be prime time with everyone's YouTube channel.
Yes, it is. But that's why YouTube is a channel that you can watch whenever you want. So we are here to stay. We've got great guests. Jemma and Chad, I'd love to get our viewers to get to know you guys. I'd love to start with Jemma. Jemma, can you give us a little bit of your origin story, how you got into comics, and, how did you get to where you are today?
All right. Well, I started drawing comics in the 3rd grade, so I don't know if it's just in my blood or what, but I've always enjoyed comics. I am more into Japanese comics, manga, instead of American comics, so definitely inspired by that. Some of my favorite comics growing up were the Pokemon generation, Clamp, Cardcaptor Sakura, stuff like that. And as I got older, started just writing stories and drawing stories, and it just kept going. And in junior high and high school, actually, me and some fellow aspiring artists got together and we created our all-girls comic book team and did our own crappy, terrible, wonderful fan comics for all of our favorite animes. And in college, I decided to get a degree in graphic design because that was partially to make my parents happy, because they're like, can you make money in art? And I'm like, well, graphic design is kind of art, but kind of makes money, so maybe I'll do that and make my parents happy.
Just tell them no.
Yeah.
No, I'll never make money.
The rebel.
And
Lies.
Keep going, Jemma.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, did we lose her?
Jemma? Did she freeze?
Oh, I think she froze.
Yeah, she froze. Oh.
All right.
Frank! What did Jemma say that angered you this time? What did our guest say that angered you this time?
You know what? One of her kids probably ran in the room and knocked something over. Oh, she's coming back.
She's coming back in. There she is.
am I here?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're here. You froze for a second.
My apologies.
What?
So your friends and you created this an all-girl team.
Yeah.
And it was heavily influenced by manga.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I remember spending weekends just hiding out at one of my friends' house, all in this giant closet, watching Inuyasha that we may or may not have torrented off the internet.
Uh,
No one does that.
I mean, it was the age where you couldn't get anime unless you stole it.
wow.
Yeah.
Like, really?
No,
That was the only way to watch it.
Look at these thieves. Look at this we have now. This is the first time we have admitted thief. Not that you
know.
would do.
No one would ever do that. I would never do that.
So
The market will find a way.
I know. There's no way of hiding it. Everyone finds a way to get it for free. So, all right. So you told your parents graphic design, and then obviously that allows you to continue your art education.
Yep. So I went to Southern Utah University, got a major in graphic design. My last semester, ended up taking a class from Chad, who is an adjunct professor. And he's like, "What are you doing being a graphic design major?"
Oh, nice.
Sell out.
It's like, "You need to be an illustrator. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And I ended up just taking one extra semester and grabbed a minor in illustration. And ever since then, I've actually been doing more comics. Just, because in the end, that's ended up what I ended up being drawn to and happiest doing. And so now, after graduating, I spent 6 months in Japan where my husband was teaching English and I was cooped up doing some comics. And that's where I was like, I'm just gonna do webcomic. If I do a webcomic, it'll force me to draw everything and anything, because in comics you really have to be able to draw everything from environments to characters, expressions. You have to be able to tell stories. And if you can draw a comic well, you could pretty much get any illustration.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just start my webcomic. And by the time I'm done with it, I'll have a portfolio. I'll do things I've never done before and get really good at it. And I can get a job. And I've just
Megatron transform.
Yeah.
Gemma, you've got a bad connection there, I think. You're coming in and out.
Autobots.
I know. Optimus, yes.
Are you there?
I think we lost her again.
Did we lose her? All right. Well, Chad, we'll wait till she pop up and then we'll.
Yeah, she'll pop back in once it syncs her back up. She must be in a basement or somewhere where maybe she's not getting the best signal. Chad, so if you don't mind, let's get into your origin story. How'd you get into comics? As a wee lad, and worked your way up.
It's interesting. Eerily similar to everything Jemma just said, just 15 years earlier and with a bunch of guys. Grew up watching Super Friends and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Comics back then ruled the earth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We didn't have any of these fancy graphic video games or nothing like that. It was all, if you wanted to see cool artwork, it was all in comics. And I was reading a ton of X-Men, and it was a great time to be a comic fan. Watchmen was just coming out.
Yeah.
Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. It was it was right before the Image Revolution, so it was super super exciting to be a comic fan at that time. And but yeah, I did the same thing. Hung out with a bunch of bros, and we role played. TSR's Marvel Universe, and then we would take our adventures from our role playing games and make our own little fan comics. So yeah, it was very much similar, and just 15 years different from what Jim was doing.
Now, Chad, are you from Utah as well?
No. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Never.
So cool.
it's really weird. It's really weird. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, but I went to Southern Utah University for my bachelor's degree in art.
Okay.
And that's where I met my wife, who was from Cedar City, Utah, and we got married and we had kids, and I think off and on we've been in Utah ever since I went to college. So, but it's a very alien landscape compared to Las Vegas. It's a little bit of a culture shock. So.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got the Osmonds.
well, the Osmonds are in Vegas, and I went to Utah, so that's how that works out. No, seriously, like Donnie and Marie are at like the West End or the West Gate or something like that now. You know?
Is she back yet? Nope.
Nope, she's coming.
Okay. So Chad, like I said, I love your art. I'm a huge fan of yours, buddy.
Ditto, man.
And I just now, so how did you? Okay, you have a story similar to Jenna's. You get together with your pals, you come up with your own stories. You're role playing things. How do you break into comics? How did this young man from Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Utah, end up, becoming one of the most successful, in-demand, talented? Well, the talent was with you, but comic illustrators in the business, working on some of the biggest titles. Mm-hmm. How did your start?
I went to San Diego Comic-Con every year, so I think since like '93 up. Okay. I mean, I tell people all the time, I used to be able to go to San Diego and buy my tickets at the door, and they're like, "What?" And it was back before there were crowds. I mean, I remember like talking to Stan Lee at a table, and no one was around. Wow. You know what I mean? It was just like, just a bygone era, and. I did all the talent searches. I got some brutal critiques from guys like Eric Larson. Dude, if you're a kid trying to break into comics and you can survive an Eric Larson critique of your portfolio, it's so funny. I ran into him like 20 years later. I was like, dude, like there were three of us that went and got a critique, and I was the only one that kept on drawing after the critique.
Wow.
He crushed the souls of my friends, and like they never picked up a pencil again. So
now, when you see Eric, do you critique his work now? And
No. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal, and Eric's a machine. He comes from that old school. He comes from that. The art is important, but hit that deadline no matter what. 2-3 pages a day. So no, I have nothing but admiration for all the image creators, really.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I heard he was such a nice guy.
He is.
Oh, Eric is.
Yes. He's absolutely nice, but
he's a little intimidating.
He's not going to sugarcoat his critique of your portfolio. He's going to give it to you with both barrels, and as you survive, then you get to do Harley 20 years later. That's
So when you got to work on Harley, I mean, who were you working on that with?
Well, Jimmy and Amanda, and it was just dumb luck. Right place, right time. Jimmy and Amanda approached one of their friends, and she was busy, so she politely declined. And they went to DC, and they started flipping through the portfolios. And I had just finished Shadow Thief for Justice League America. And I just finished a fill-in issue of Supergirl because Yildiray had left to do X-Men, and Eddie was looking for someone to come in and replace him. But Mike Martz was looking for someone to do Harley, and Harley had a miniseries and stuff like that before, and it never caught fire. So DC really didn't believe in it. When they I remember the editors be like, yeah, you'll probably sell 20 to 40,000 issue 1, and then cancellation by issue 12 or issue 20, something, like they're like, you're gonna do okay, but we don't expect much. And then Jimmy and Amanda just blew it up. So,
well, you all did. You know what I mean?
You're
a fantastic team, and rightly so. I mean, pretty incredible. I don't think, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that, but I think if it weren't for you, and a big part of that, you know what I mean? Like, let's give credit where credit is due, is your astonishing art. Who knows if there'd be a Suicide Squad movie? I don't think there would.
There wouldn't be. There wouldn't be. I think Warner Brothers was like, what's this book that outsold Batman?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, what? We have another popular character. What are we doing? And
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's face it. Suicide Squad was Harley's origin story.
Yeah. I don't even think they needed the Suicide Squad. I think it would have been a more enjoyable film if it was just her.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem staring at Margot Robbie all day long. So
So
no
then
problem.
so I know Billy and I, you guys told us a story here, but then so how did yourself and Jemma come to be a creative team for your latest Kickstarter?
I'll let Jemma tell that.
You want me?
Which is Teremity, and Amazing Frank, can we post a link, please, for Teremity Kickstarter, which is now at $16,000 with 16 days left.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to throw the plug in for you.
No worries.
Yeah. So, Chad and I have been working on projects together for a while, ever since I was a student. We, he'd be working on these big projects with like Marvel and DC, and I'd end up going to conventions with him. We'd split a table. This before it was, working on Harley Quinn. So, splitting tables was a cost-effective way to go to these conventions. And I don't know what it is with my box.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I apologize if that's my fault. My gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna keep. It's just fluctuating because whatever your bandwidth is, it's just trying to scale you to keep you fluid.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Be sorry.
Yeah, don't be sorry.
We got Comcast.
Well, yeah. We do.
If you're Lark and you're heading to the comic conventions, you're going with Chad, who is yet to become one of the big superstars of comics.
Yeah.
And, okay, so now what's your first convention that you hit?
I think it was Vegas.
Okay.
So we did Vegas together, and we tabled, and we ended up helping each other out and helping each other with sales. And he was doing some artwork that were more like prints that he wanted to do, and he liked my coloring. Like, my job in comics was coloring at that time. So I'd color his work, and then he'd go off and sell it. And when he got onto Harley Quinn, me and my husband Jacob were like the first to know, and we were so excited. And we kept going to conventions, and I ended up helping manage his booths because Harley just exploded, and he couldn't do the table by himself. Like, he couldn't draw and manage a table at the same time. It was impossible. So I was like, hey, I'll go with you. And I remember there were some times when he was like trying to hit those really tight deadlines with Harley Quinn, and I was up at night late with him, inking his pages, filling in those blacks.
Jemma ghost inked, I don't know how many issues of Harley, but anytime we were together, because we'd hit the convention floor all day long, and then we'd go back to the hotel room and draw Harley pages all night. So it was nuts.
And what it's like. I mean, right? I mean, to have someone even filling in the blacks.
Yeah.
Doing the leaves on trees, windows, and buildings. That's what takes the longest time anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great that you had a partner that, with this fantastic, that you guys really worked out as a great team.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes way back from the beginning. Geez, what Jemma, what book was I on when I was teaching adjunct? Do you remember? Was it?
It was right before Dragon Age. So, The Shadow Thief?
No, that would have been right before Dragon Age would have been I think it was wrapping up Traveler with Stan Lee and Mark Waid.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You were working on Traveler, and then you got on Dragon Age, which I was super psyched about.
Yeah.
I love Dragon Age.
Yeah, Jemma knew everything about Dragon Age. I knew nothing. I was like, Jemma, is this right? She's like, yeah, no, yes.
So, yeah, we worked on those, and we worked really well together. And just during these times, we're like, we should do comic together. It'd be a lot of fun. And
brainstorming while you guys are working together in the room.
Yes.
Oh, that's so much fun! Isn't that great when those creative juices start going? And so So how did we? This is your Jemma. This is your 5th Kickstarter, right?
Yes.
So now was Teremity one of the creations that came out of your all-nighters, pulling the all-nighters working, or did you guys come up with something earlier, or you know what I mean? What's the antithesis or the genesis of you coming to Kickstarter with that?
So I've been working on Temerity for quite a while. Actually, it's a story I've been developing since high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just like something that's just been like on the back burner, just kind of like simmering. And, I started writing a script, and Chad's like, I really want to do a sci-fi with robots and mechs and spaceships. And I was like, I have this idea. And I ended up pitching it to him. And as far as I can tell, he really likes it because he's putting all this time and effort into drawing it.
Yeah. Pulling the all-nighters for it. So. No, and that's exactly what it was. Jemma said, and this was at the height of Harley, and I think maybe she sensed like, okay, he can't do this forever; it's going to kill him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she just started asking questions like, if you could do anything, what would you do? And my first memory is going to the Star Wars drive-in when I was like 4 years old. That was my first memory. And so, like, Star Wars is just 90% of who I am, at least until the prequels came out. But
yeah, indeed.
And so, and I was a huge anime fan. I love Robotech. I love Shogun Warriors. I love Battle of the Planets. And so Jim was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to do something like this stuff. But I told her, I was like, I can't write though. I don't write. I draw crap. You know what I mean? And Jimmy and Amanda can write and draw. I can't. And I can't even spell my name half the time. And Jim was like, well, I have this project, and I remember we were coming home from Las Vegas Comic-Con, and she was pregnant with Remy, her son, and she was so sick. I mean, she was sick, and I was exhausted, and we're driving in the car home, and she's basically telling me the story as we're driving home, and that's how we stayed awake to make the drive from Vegas to Salt Lake. And I was like, okay, this sounds like a lot of fun. And because it was a perfect mix of like that Star Wars, Robotech, Battle of the Planets. I think Voltron. Yeah. So it's like, I want to do this. Let's do it. And we've been. I can't even tell you guys how much harder it is to do a creator-owned book as opposed to just getting your script from DC and them saying go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Jemma knew, like, she knew. She's like, strap in, but big boy. Oh, you think you're ready? It's just like, she knew, and she knew, but I didn't. It's been, I think that's, she implied that the technology curse, it's been like hardcore labor for a year. My apologies to every independent creator who I ever complained about. Like, as a kid, like, you know how, like, when Image was coming out, you're like, oh, this book's late. Like, he's such a lazy,
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my God, like, these guys, the fact that they did anything was amazing.
Yeah, and Jerry, you'll attest to this too. Is we had was it Ron Randall, and he came up with a point is that when the art department is working, the shipping department is not.
Yeah.
when the marketing department is working, the art department isn't work. Is off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you're wearing so many hats and you're doing so many things.
Yeah.
But but then again, at the end, you own it all. It's yours. And as I said before, there's no feeling that I can compare as to when you have your own creator-owned comic and you see that for the first time.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is all mine. I mean, it's great to have a Marvel book or a DC book, you know what I mean? But when you have yours and it's all yours, and then when someone comes up to you because they're buying from you, not necessarily someone who's a Captain American completist and needs every Captain America thing.
Right.
It's so satisfying, and it's worth it. I mean, I hope you guys think it's worth it, because it really is.
Well, for me, it's my first time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here's the thing, and this is what Jim and I keep reminding each other. It's like, we're doing this because it's supposed to be fun and we're friends. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're trying to recreate that, creating the comic books when we're like, kids. And that's what we have to keep reminding ourselves, because there's just so much that happens. I mean, just so much that happens.
Yeah, so let's get into, now that we've started talking about Temerity a bit, let's get into the actual campaign you guys have up. And if you don't mind, I'd love to play the videos for the viewers out there.
Okay.
World premiere on Crowdfunding Comics.
Nice. Very nice. That was good.
Do you need someone taken out? Or a high-profile individual protected? Or maybe you just need someone to pick up the pizza.
Something about pizza.
Well, look no further. We have the team just for you. Meet U1523, or Teru if you can't remember numbers. And Naya. These two are the best work-for-hire duo in the galaxy. Don't believe me? Check out their impressive resumes. Okay, so maybe they don't look so good on paper, but trust me, they're formidable. Welcome to the Temerity.
Hi, my name's Chad Hardin. I've been drawing comics for 14 years, and hopefully you've read and seen some of my work in Harley Quinn.
Hi, I'm Jemma M, the writer of Temerity. I've been developing comics since I was in junior high, and I started self-publishing Children of Elder in 2012.
Me and Jemma started working together on Temerity over 2 years ago. I wanted to do a sci-fi comic that had a fantasy element, and Jemma said, well, I have an idea. Jemma read me the first chapter as we drove home from an exhausting convention. I hadn't slept in days, but the story was so interesting that it kept me awake the whole trip home. We've been waiting for the right time for this to happen, and that time is now.
Temerity is about Teru, a genetically enhanced super soldier who escapes the project that created him. He ends up on the Temerity, working for a work-for-hire group. He's teamed up with Naya, who's a crazy sugar-addicted marksman, and she helps him get acquainted with life outside the military as they take on fun, over-the-top jobs.
This is a great story, great art that helps you escape, lots of fun pop culture references, lots of humor sprinkled throughout, an engaging comic that will keep you coming back for more. I love working with Jemma. She's organized and has it all together where I don't. And really the number one thing is we're friends. We have a lot of similar interests, including Japanese comics, or as kids call them today, manga. Another great thing is I think my sensibilities are geared towards my generation, whereas hers are geared towards the up-and-coming generation, the people who will keep comics alive. That speaks to people who want to read comics now. Putting us together creates a captivating dynamic. She's good at writing love interest, character development, and I'm good at drawing spaceships, ninjas, robots, things like that. Hopefully it'll be like Wonder Twin powers activate.
Wonder Twins powers activate!
In the form of an ice pencil!
In the form of a fluffy cat!
We have put so much thought and research into providing rewards for our backers. In addition to getting exclusive first print run copies of the comics, you'll also get the chance to get your hands on guest art prints, CGC-rated books, metal trading cards, and even some experiential rewards.
Yes.
Of course, that list will grow substantially as we reach our stretch goals. We are excited to announce that if this really takes off, we are going to partner with the famed game designer Sandy Peterson, creator of the Cthulhu Wars series, and develop a board game to be released in a future campaign.
Thank you for checking out our video.
I hope you'll pledge to our campaign. Thanks!
Thanks!
I loved that.
Wow.
That was a great video, guys.
Jimmy did everything on that. Everything. I did nothing.
What a great, and the art, oh my God, it is beautiful.
We wanted this to be the most beautiful sci-fi comic you will ever pick up.
My God, I mean, really, it is. I mean, gorgeous.
So tell us a little bit about the campaign, some of the reward levels you guys have, and any other members of the team or any other artists you guys brought in to do variant covers, things like that.
Okay, Gemma, you want to?
Well,
what's the story, Gemma? Can you tell people? Can we start with the story?
Well, it kind of described it in the video, but
Yeah.
yes, it's about Teru, who is a genetically enhanced super soldier, and he's trying to escape the project that created him so he can find his friend, Sky, who was part of his team. She just mysteriously disappeared. And he ends up on the spaceship Temerity, and he's partnered up with Nile, who's crazy and energetic and loves to dance and loves sugar. And he's like, what are all these things? It's like he grew up in the military and has no clue. So it's a little
awkward.
So it's a fish out of water sci-fi adventure. And you can pick up the first issue for $12, and that is free shipping to the United States. And if you're in Germany and the UK, it's $5, I think, and the European Union is $10. So we try to do our very best to make these rewards as, financially, as good as, as cheap as possible for people to get their hands on this, because shipping to some of these places can be very expensive. So
yeah,
we wanted to make it as available as possible to people.
Well, it is beautiful. I mean, yes, and tell us some of the cooler of your levels.
So we have variant covers. So we brought in Starbite, who is basically Instagram famous, and she did a variant cover, which is Naya with the pokey stick and Teru, which is just amazing. Every time I see it, I'm just like, ah!
also one of my students. I'm gonna claim that I taught her everything she knows, just like I did with Jemma. It's not true. They both came fully formed when they met me, but yeah,
definitely
she's
gave us some
extremely talented.
good pushes in the right direction, though.
Yeah.
But so we have Crystal Faye, who she's going to be in the Spectrum this year, and she's amazing. And then Enrica. So Enrica is actually in Rome, and she's our colorist, and she is also a fantastic illustrator.
Phenomenal.
Just amazing.
Amazing.
We love everything she does. It's like a lot of colorists, you send your work, and you're like, oh no, is it going to come back beautiful? Like, is it going to come back worse than I sent it? Because sometimes you actually have to worry about these things, because some colorists just, but she has this amazing knack. Like, I just send her a page. I don't even put notes on it for lighting, and it comes back, and I'm like, it's more beautiful than I imagined.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. That's her work. I've never seen anyone take Chad's art and make it better.
And I am not an easy guy to ink, and I'm not an easy guy to color. And she just, like Jimmy said,
she's done it.
Yeah.
From watching the video and understanding the story and the concept, like even like the style of the coloring, like everything just blends and melds so well. Like it's all fluid. It's like perfect for each other.
Yeah, and you got so much going on, and there's no muddiness. There's no everything moves. It's just beautiful. I mean,
she's phenomenal.
I mean, what a team you guys have. You guys, I mean, there's a lot of positive energy surrounding this book, though.
It is definitely a labor of love.
Yeah,
It's a labor of love. So, it has been. It's been great working with everyone, and everyone. Like, I'm friends with Crystal. I'm friends with Starbite. Jemma, two of the students two of the people that did prints are two of my best students, and so this is not strangers asking strangers to do stuff. This is like a group of friends getting together and really saying, like, you know, what can we make and how cool can we make it?
Yeah.
It's like a family affair.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
just we've had lots of friends and family, just a lot of amazing support from the people we know in creating this.
Yeah. So how now? I know, Chad, you kind of started touching on it and basically, tipping your hat to the independent creators out there. And Gemma, you've got a few under your belt as well. I mean, starting with you, Chad, like what are I know it takes a lot of time, dedication. It's easier to maybe take the script or something else from one of the big two or something. But I mean, really, it's hard work. But what do you take from this whole new creator-owned crowdfunding process?
It's a million times harder than I ever imagined, and you've got to plan for everything that can possibly go wrong, and then 20 things that you never even planned about going wrong, and it's just it's so much harder than just doing the normal comic things. But it's also like Billy said, it's yours, it's mine. And I am more proud of I'm more proud of the artwork that I'm doing for this book than any book I've ever been on. Period. And I always give it my all. But I think you could literally spend probably 4 hours just spotting all the Easter eggs that I put into like the first 5 pages.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just in Julius's tattoos alone. Julius is the guy who's the Arnold Schwarzenegger lookalike. He's basically Arnold's biggest fan, and so he has genetically modified himself to look like Arnold, and he's tattooed
awesome.
Arnold's movie sayings all over his body. So like if you go back and you look at his tattoos, it's like screw you, Benny, and it's not a Tuma, and
It's not a Tuma.
And here's the cool thing. Like Jimmy just gives me the script, and when Jim's comics are all about the younger kids, like she has not talked about Elder at all, but she has 75,000 subscribers on Elder on Webtoons. She's had over 3 million reads for her book.
Oh wow!
Right. So
congratulations, that's great.
For someone who's doing her own web comic, she knows how to hustle, and she knows the younger generation that's going to keep this medium alive, because and I'm sort of that old school guy, so I'm putting in Easter eggs for I know that the kids that read Elder, they're going to look at that stuff, they're not going to get it. But if you're my age and you pick this book up, it's all for you guys. It's all so anyway.
Now, Gemma, you've been doing Eldar since 2012. How did you start that, making a webcomic, and to do that, and for those that might want to find a way to get into making their own comics, but maybe they're not ready to take that crowdfunding step. Was that your kids or something?
It's Alice.
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids in the background. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But, there's 11 children in this house right now. So, anyway, so I started Elder. I was living in Japan, and I was coloring comics for other people. I was like, I want to do my own thing. And so I started doing Children of Elder, just started posting it online, elder.com, and, just doing 2 pages a week. And right now I only do 1 page a week because I have 2 children. So that kind of takes a bite out of my time. And
one of which just had surgery.
Yeah, that was fun. So, oh, look, there it is. Yeah. So that is, elder.com. I post a new page every week. So just over time, I've accumulated pages and I've accumulated readers, and I just started putting it everywhere I could think. So I got on Webtoons as soon as it opened up to the USA. and I'm on Tapas and Smack Jeeves and all these places, and just over time I've built up an audience of 85,000 people, mostly on Webtoons. It's probably my biggest platform. And I need to work on that archive page. It's kind of, I need to redo this website. Anyways, you know, it's definitely a labor of love, but you know, it's been worth it, and I've been working on it for like 7 years now, and it's gotten to the point where I have a big enough audience where I can start, you know, making a passive income off of it, you know, with Patreon, and I've done a Kickstarter for it 3 years in a row. So I have volumes 1 through 3 out, and I'm currently working on content for volume 4. So done 4 Elder campaigns. Currently, I'm about 80% fulfilled on Elder 3, and I've done a print Kickstarter, and then I also helped Chad with his art book. So I guess that makes, is this my 6th Kickstarter then?
Yeah.
It's my 6th Kickstarter. And the amazing thing with Kickstarters is something new will go wrong with every single one.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this problem that I haven't figured out. Hopefully, you know, we jumped this hurdle. We don't have to worry about that anymore, and try to move away from the door.
China. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another problem.
So hopefully this is my 6th one, so a lot of the problems that Kickstarters have will be resolved, and we won't have too many problems, at least very minor ones.
Yeah. What is the biggest issue that you could tell anyone out there that's like, hey, I'm starting my first Kickstarter? What's the biggest issue you had? It's like, don't do this.
Never underestimate the costs of shipping.
Yeah.
That is number one.
You better take what, like half the money that comes in and just put it in a bank account, and then when all the shipping's done, like that's what you're left with. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would bet that's the number one reason why it fails is, you know, people get it done and then figure out it costs a lot of money to get those books to people. So
yeah. Now you offer a digital copy as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
So are you finding, and maybe even like your past Kickstarters, do you find a lot of overseas backers are purchasing digital?
A lot of overseas will do digital. A lot of people who just want an excuse to give me money will do the digital.
Yeah.
So you know, like $1 to $5.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can afford to give you $1 to $5, and if I get a digital, that's great. You know, it's a really simple way, an easy way for people to show their support and give you support without buying the full-on physical copy. So a lot of them are international. A number are domestic too, for that reason.
Well, you build up an incredible following, and that's great though, that you have your friends or your fans that, you know, and even for people out there, if you guys don't have, say you cannot contribute to the crowdfund, you know, to the Kickstarter, can you at least share it? I mean, these are two incredible people. And please just share it on your social media, on your Instagram, you know, just with the link. Let people know about them and get the book out there, because they're off to a great start. But man, let's see what we can do in the next 16 days for them, because they really deserve it. And you guys really have it going on for sure. And it's got to be one of the most beautiful books we've ever seen, huh, Nile? And we've done 32.
Yeah, it actually is. I mean, I like I said before, I mean, just how everything melds together, and even just like when we're going back on the coloring, and you know, and I was looking at it again, you know, on my other screen here, and I feel like I'm in space. Like there's almost like a hazy glow. Like it's like there's an atmosphere to it, and I love it. I feel like I'm looking at an environment that I'm actually in space. Kudos.
Yeah, an interesting thing that you bring that up is Chad is really, really into sci-fi and interested in the. Am I breaking up or something?
No, not at all.
Okay, I don't know at this point, but like he's really into the theories and the science behind space.
Oh,
And so we really want to make this a comic where, sci-fi buffs can be like, oh, they really thought this through.
Mhm.
It's not just like magical gravity that happens just so we don't have to worry about it,
Yeah.
working our ways around it.
Our ships have centrifuges. We explain, how the thrust happens. We explain faster than light travel, to the best you can.
Mhm.
To the best you can. It's not Star Wars where, you hit a magic button and all of a sudden you're there. We're definitely going the Star Trek route, the Expanse route, the 2001 route, where we're going to cram as much science into it as we can. And
while telling an awesome story, of course.
Right, yeah. But it's funny though, because like I told Jim, I was like, I got to redo these pages. I did the centrifuge wrong. I said I have it curved along the edges and not along the bottom. Jim was like, no, you're not, Chad. no, you're not. You're like, no, I've waited too long for these pages. He's like, and it's amazing. Todd McFarlane warned me. He goes, you're gonna get on your creator-owned book, and he goes, you're gonna want to add every blade of grass. He's like, don't do it. And I didn't listen. Because it's like your baby. You know what I mean? It's your baby. This isn't somebody else's baby. You're not making somebody else billions of dollars. This is yours.
Right.
But that was one of the best pieces of advice, and I promise with issue 2, Jemma, not to draw every blade of grass and every grain of salt. And anyway,
do you believe him, Jim?
That's a big no.
That's a big fat no.
But each blade of grass is just a little ounce of love. I mean, that's all you're giving.
It wasn't the blade of grass. It was those tattoos.
Oh,
have you seen the tattoo?
I casually mentioned a tattoo in a character design, and he's like,
okay.
I don't even know. Just
every one-liner Arnold has ever had is on Julius's body.
I said one tattoo. One tattoo. and suddenly his whole body is a tattoo.
I mean, and he's got the sleeves, brother. You know what I mean? It's all over.
It's ridiculous. If you go onto our Instagram, I made a meme where it's like a panel, and then you zoom in, and then you zoom in, and it's just like all this crazy detail. It's like, Chad, no one's ever gonna see that. Why?
Yeah. I see it.
And the thing, Chad, is that you see it, and no one's gonna see it.
Yeah.
But you do.
I do.
You gotta kind of get away from it. It's almost like when you do a commission. Oh, I'm not finished with that. My wife's like, yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
Well,
she's like, no. And then people never notice, like, something that really bothers you, say you're at, or a cover, and it's killing me. This is really bothering me. And, the people don't realize you're your worst critic, obviously, right? And Jemma, as an artist too, she's trying to help you, buddy.
she is, and she knows. She's like, look, if this is going to be on the web and we're going to gain interest, she's like, Chad, you can't spend 7 hours on one panel, and I couldn't spend 7 hours on a panel working for DC either. You know what I mean? I mean, you had to get a page done in 6 hours, period. End of story.
Yeah.
Or you're going to suffer, and I need to get back in that same mentality, maybe do that for the cover and not for the interiors, but yeah, I'm gonna listen to Todd on this next one, and Jemma. But yeah, there's Easter eggs all over the place. There's jokes, there's hidden messages, there's cameos, so pick it up and enjoy it, because it's all over.
Well, you can tell it's a labor of love. And Nile, when they come on for the next one, be prepared, because Jemma, we are going to ask you that. McFarlane?
Yeah. Bring Todd, Jemma. If I don't hold true, Todd will kick he'll crack the whip on you, man.
Yeah, you
like, Chad, Chad.
So where are we with the book now? What, like, how many pages is it?
22.
You know, sorry?
22 pages.
Right, perfect.
And it's all mine. There's a lot of Kickstarters where, you know, they do the covers and then they don't focus on the interiors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same art through and through. We're not farming it out to somebody else. We're not, you know, this is us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm putting my name on it. It's going to look the way I want it to look. And you know, we're not just going for the, you know, the cover sales. We're putting out a quality product. So.
Yeah, no, we can clearly see that.
And it's, you know, it's going to be an amazing story with character growth and development, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy the characters that we have.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you can already see, and is it Teru? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
Yeah, you can already see just from your art and from you telling it the chemistry between he and Naya. Is it Naya?
Yeah.
Naya. I mean, you can just see the chemistry there. Mm-hmm. And I love how she's such a free spirit, and he's this, you know, this straight-laced soldier type thing, and it could lead to a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have some crazy times ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the future for Temerity? I mean, what are you guys planning, if you don't mind me asking? How many issues are you going to go out? Is it something you're just going to just roll with it and see where it goes?
We would, in my mind, I want 100 issues just like Akira. 1 through 100, finite story that can just sit perfectly on half of your bookshelf. You know what I mean? That's my plan.
Mm-hmm.
But we need fan support to do it. And that's been one of the things that's been hardest for me is, like, if I draw a picture of Harley Quinn, like I have 1 million people fighting over it, you know. And it's really hard to watch, like, the same amount of love and dedication, if not more, going to, like, not, you know, Naya and Teru, and people like, well, can I have another Harley picture? And don't get me wrong, I love Harley. I almost named my truck Harley. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, you know, she's bought a lot of crap for me. Okay, I love her. I'm not trying to diss her or any of the fans, but it's like, you know, people complain all the time. They're like, oh, comics are stagnant. It's the same stuff over and over again. And, you know, one of the reasons why we kickstarted this, like, you know, I talked to DC, you know, hey, I want to do a science fiction book. They treated me like I had a disease. They're like, you're insane. You know, and in American comics, it's superheroes or nothing. Well, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Especially in today's economic, like, you look at the actual comic industry, that's not just Marvel and DC. If you look online, it's hardly superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything. There's every comic of every kind of story out there. And people love it. Like, you go onto Webtoons and, you know, some of these online platforms, you know, superheroes are in their own little corner.
Yeah.
Actually.
And look
and the future generation doesn't care for them as much as some of these other things.
And look how huge you know, manga is.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Compared to superheroes, it's far greater. So there is room to have all these other exciting, exciting genres, because people are in need of that. Because if you look, I mean, maybe I'm generalizing, but I'm tired of looking at superhero comics of costume superheroes sitting around talking around a conference table.
Yeah.
You know, and some books will have 19, 20 pages of that.
Yeah.
Of them just talking. And it's like, oh, really? So, you know, that's why I think that's why the crowdfunding comics, this new golden age of independent publishing and create our own, you know, the creative, this comics revolution is so big right now, because I think people the people like yourselves are giving the audiences what they want.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think once they, and I think that's the difference between my fans and Jemma's fans. Like Jemma's fans get it. You don't have to pitch it to them. Like, they get it. It's the old guys like me. You know, it's the fanboy generation. it's like they want that book in their hands. They want to see it. I have no doubt, like when I start bringing this book to conventions, it's just gonna, you know, but it's hard to say, hey, get on Webtoons. Like, what's Webtoons? You know, it's just a different world. So,
Yeah.
we're really trying our best to combine something that, you know, that everyone can read. Parents, married couples, families, you know, everyone can pick up this book and have a good time. And but it's a lot harder roping in, you know, like I said, my generation, the older fanboy generation.
Yeah. Well, they're set in their ways and they like certain things. And it's almost like they're scared to look at other forms of, you know, different types of stories and characters, you know. They kind of want just that class, like they just want Batman to bust through the, you know, the window, and you know that's just kind of what they want.
Well, it's interesting though, like, and you got, okay, you can tell by the reverence that I've talked about with Todd, like how much of a Todd McFarlane fan I am. But I swear to God, if I see another Spider-Man 300 cover swipe, I'm gonna kill a baby. You know, I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? I mean, like how can you just keep going back to that same well and expect to grow a market? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they buy them though. That's the problem. They sell
that
out.
is the problem. But here's the thing: that's what caused the crash in the '90s. You know, this, and don't get me wrong, I love variant covers because I love drawing them. Okay, but you know, you get a few of these variant cover jobs, and they're like, hey, you know, swipe this and swipe that, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to swipe. You know, I want to do my own. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got to pump some new blood, some new ideas, something different, please, for the love of Pete. You know.
Well,
that's why we started. That's why we started this show, to be honest with you. You know, one of the reasons was, man, there's so many awesome things going on out there. You know, Billy started using the platform. You know, I'm getting ready to use the platforms, and you know, we just started looking into it more, and it just turned into, you know, hey, you know, maybe it'd be cool just doing a little show and just looking to see what people are doing, and then it turned into something bigger. And you know, a lot of people like it. They like coming on to have, you know, creators like yourselves and just listen to them talk, you know, hear how they're doing things, because a lot of guys and girls out there that are creating, you know, everyone's kind of scared, you know, everyone wants to do it, but everyone's was a little afraid. So it's kind of nice to have something like this where we're embracing that new golden age of creating, you know, the crowdfunding, you know, just keep it in your hands and do it. And you know, I think this is the way of the future. I really do. I really think this is kind of that new platform that's coming in, because we're adapting to the technology that's going on. You know, we're adapting to the different medias, whether it's digital or still, you know, a solid ink and paper that we can hold in our hands. I mean, you know, I think what you want to do will happen. I think we're all in the right direction, and I think with, you know, even medias like ours trying to help support it and stuff like that, I think you're going to see a big change in the next 5-10 years.
Well,
definitely.
You absolutely are, because the numbers keep going down, and it's an old trope. If I had a nickel for every time someone said comics were dead, comics are gonna be fine.
Yeah.
There are more kids reading comics today than there ever have been. They're just not reading the same comics that we are reading.
Right.
You know, like Jim has said, you know, the number of people on Webtoons, it's what is it, Jim? Like, what, 100 million people reading Webtoons right now? I mean,
there's millions of people just on Webtoons alone, and that's just in America.
Gemma, could you explain Webtoons?
Okay, so Webtoons is a webcomic platform. It's you know, you can download it on your phone or you can read it on your desktop. And it actually originated in South Korea, where it's basically where Webtoons webcomics exploded, and they ended up bringing it over to the United States, and they opened it up so it's an open platform. Any comic creator can go on there and publish their work, and there have been a number of these kind of sites that have popped up over the years, but I think this is probably the biggest one that I know of. And they have featured comics which they update every week. without fail, they're paid comics. They're paid, up here at the very top, you can see a lot of those are featured. So they're paid products.
Mm-hmm.
So they're paying their teams to create these original IPs specifically for the Webtoons platform. But I can go in as a Discover artist and just start publishing my comic. And, you can look it up just by searching Elder. And, just over the last 2 or 3 years, I've accumulated 85,000 followers. And I have over 100 episodes and 3 million views, which is just,
wow.
Before this, that was really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
If she was doing a book like for Marvel or DC and it was selling 8,500 or 85,000, issues a month, it'd be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Those are big numbers for even the big two now. And so, it's not dying. It's just going in a different direction. And
it's going to, it's the idea that the more people see your work, the more successful, the more money you're going to make up in the long run. It's a very hard investment for people to make. I don't want to give away my stuff for free. I put so much work into it. But over time, over 7 or 8 years, people have come to know that I am reliable. And, I will continue to produce even when things get hard. And even if I'm not making as much as a normal paid comic creator, or if it's not the top 10, I'm just going to keep producing. And suddenly I've created a brand for myself. So I can go off, and even if I decide not to do Elder anymore, I could probably go off and do another project, and a lot of those people would follow me because they know me as a person, as a creator, as an individual, rather than just this mass-produced product.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're rooting for you, and they want to support you.
Yeah, and over 7 years, a lot of these people, they started reading when they were in high school. They're younger. They couldn't pay me then, but just over the years, we really like Jemma as a person. They like me as a person and the stuff that I create. And over time, slowly, I start accumulating more patrons or more people who just support my Kickstarter or who commission me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still putting Elder out there for free, but when I run a Kickstarter, $10,000 is about what I can make on a Kickstarter, even though they can get it for free. And I people really like to support artists and individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, speaking of that, what I've learned through Kickstarter, and several of our guests have too, is that there are fans that will only buy through Kickstarter, and there are fans that will only buy through Indiegogo. Have you guys considered launching an Indiegogo campaign after your Kickstarter campaign is done for the book?
We probably should.
Yeah,
we probably should, and I think someone suggested it with the Art of books, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we did it right. I don't know, because we made close to 31,000 on my volume 1 and 2 art books, and then we put on Indiegogo. We made like $400, but we didn't. It's weird. I don't know.
We didn't really promote it.
Yeah, you got to promote it. That's the thing, is that you're starting a whole nother campaign, and you might be like, I'm tired, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is so exhausting.
Well, and okay, so just in the time where we've actually finished this comic, it's like, like I said, Jim's son had surgery. I had a friend pass away. I'm probably going to be going to my grandma's funeral in the next month or so. I mean, people forget that life is happening while you're doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jemma has 2 small children at home. I teach college full time. I mean, if we didn't love this stuff, we would not be doing it. Period.
Yeah.
Period. But we still need need the support of our fans to make it happen.
Yeah. And and also, like you said, is people say, oh, wow, $16,000, almost $17,000 now. I see you had, I think 334 backers last I checked. So you got a backer. That's a lot of money, right? Oh my, but $16,000, how much of that is printing? How much of that is shipping? Right? I mean, my God, paying, it's not a lot of money. It really is.
No, it goes away very quickly.
We want to get rich off of it. That's the whole point, is that we want you to get rich off of it. Of course, you'll love this art, but it is a business as well, because you're putting your blood, sweat, your toil, your tears into this, and you guys deserve to be rewarded.
The best compliment I've ever received doing comics, I had a kid in Calgary, Canada, come up to me who's severely disabled, and he said, for 20 minutes a week, I can read your comic and forget I'm in this wheelchair.
Wow.
That's like the best.
Wow.
I'm like, that's the best compliment you can get. I just want people to read this. If they get home at the end of the day and it makes them forget the crappy thing that happened at work that day, or if it allows them to just not be in this reality for 20 minutes, mission accomplished. What I mean?
And it is supposed to be escapism, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, that's one of our main goals of our comic is, we do this for escapism. We just want to tell an awesome story that people can enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we promise no politics. Swear to God, hand to God, no politics.
Oh my God, right? Oh.
We are not, Jim is conservative, I'm liberal. We're leaving this crap out. Just come and have fun, okay?
Nobody cares about that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so out of control.
Yeah.
It's
in everything. You can't go. It's on your favorite. You watch a show, all of a sudden now it's in your show. It's in the news. It's in your comics. It's in your video game. It's everywhere.
I don't know what happened with our society, because it used to be, my parents told me, they're like, you can't talk politics, religion, or Amway because your parents are married. And I didn't get that joke till I was like 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but people, for whatever reason, people feel like they got to just spew this stuff like 24/7. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, the negativity, right? Nobody cares.
Eat a sandwich, and nobody wants to hear that. Shut up. I think that's why Facebook's, just.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of toxicity out there, and I've had some conversations with some of my friends that are really into politics, and they every time you see them, that's what they want to talk about. But they'll do, say, a tweet or even a Facebook post, because Facebook still is really big with crowdfunding. It really is.
Okay.
It's amazing how big Facebook is with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all. But they'll post something about, say, Trump, right? They'll post about Trump, and they'll get 13 likes.
Oh.
Then they'll post a cover art, and they'll get 700 likes. And I'm like, don't you see what you should be posting more?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to change anyone's mind. And, people have enough going on in their lives. And, yes, we all watch the news. We all see. We all know what's going on, and which party's saying what, and which party's saying this and who's that. I don't need my friends to then badger me over the head with it. Hey, did you see this?
And isn't that what's cool, though, about the comic community, though, that we, at least we have something that we can put on there that isn't about politics. I honestly think there's other people, like, that's the only way they can get attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They can't write something cool. They can't draw something pretty.
Yeah.
So they got to light themselves on fire on social media. And it's like, but that's what's cool about comics. It's like, I can draw a pretty picture of someone lighting themselves on fire on social media, and it's all good. So.
Yeah, we had Sarah's song is she has a degree in psychology, and something big was going on in the news, and the comics industry were fighting with each other over some, things of pros even, and fans. And I'm like, why do you think there is all this negativity? Why these people feel they have to talk like this? Or, half the people lost their minds when Trump became president and stuff. And she hit it on the head, and she said, well, I studied this, and people are so miserable in their own lives for one reason or another. And either they take that toxicity in, maybe they hate Trump so much they want everyone else to be miserable. And that's all they do, is just then jump on this negativity. and they keep jumping on it, and then people become numb to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. How many times are you going to say the same thing? You know,
well, it's so one-dimensional. It's so one-dimensional, you know, and it's a shame because you know, I have so many people that are like, why are you friends with this guy? Like, this guy's toxic. I'm like, go sit with him in a bar. He's like one of the best joke tellers you'll ever meet. You know, like, you know, if you're blocking him on Facebook, you're missing out because he's a great guy. You know what I mean? But I don't know what happens. Like, people get on social media, it's like they lose their civility, they lose their minds. They, you know, I don't know if they don't think they're actually talking to real people. You know, I don't know, but
it's so easy to write something or type something to something that you would never say to someone's face.
Armchair.
Yeah. You know, as Frank Thierry called them, keyboard John Gotti's.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So, but enough of that. Let's talk. Let's talk about you guys.
Sorry,
I apologize.
That was good.
But
how rude.
Gosh.
Right, so it just seems to be part of the whole, the dynamics right now of comics for some strange reason. But that's why we love you guys, because of, like I said, that this positivity that's surrounding your book is really refreshing, isn't it, Nile? You know,
it is, yeah.
And you guys are just great.
Yeah, you guys are killing it out
Chad,
there.
you know, maybe you should listen to Jemma a little more. No.
You know what? I am totally happy doing nothing but drawing and not ever appearing on anything and letting Jemma handle absolutely all of it. But when I do that, though, I feel guilty because I know how overwhelming all that can be.
Yeah.
And I know that there's times where she really needs me to engage. And trust me, dude, I am such an introvert. I would be completely happy never showing my face to the light of day, ever.
Well, you're doing terrific here, and you know, maybe a few less blades of grass that you draw, the more time you can have helping your partner out.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Problem solved.
Yeah. So you want to have some fun, Nile, with our guests?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know, like when you guys, whenever you have, it seems like maybe an ounce of time. What do you guys, you know, starting with Jemma, what do you do outside of the world of comics? You know, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, I guess I'm kind of in a unique situation where, you know, being a mom is my full-time job, so
she's got young kids.
Comics.
Guys. There's no free time.
Yeah.
Comics and writing is what I do for fun. And I do play video games. Right now I'm religiously playing Zelda Breath of the Wild every day.
And the truth comes out.
That's why
I'm
I'm
so stressed out.
Like,
The truth comes.
I play video games and also working on some quilting. I do some sewing and art and drawing and writing. And
do you put your kids to down for a nap, even though they're not tired, so you could play?
oh gosh, I wish they'd take a nap.
Hey
No,
kids, let Uncle Chad come over and take a sip out of the bottle of NyQuil.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess there is one thing. My art has kind of rubbed off on my daughter, who is 6 years old, and we make Pokemon terrariums together.
Oh, that's cool.
So we make we take those little plastic ornaments and we grab our Pokemon figurine and we put some bushes in there and we sell them at Comic-Con. She does better than me.
Oh no.
She paid for her family's trip to Disneyland.
There you
Alice did.
My 6-year-old
Wow.
took us to Disneyland. It
Is
was
that
pretty
true?
awesome.
Wow.
With
Is that
Pokemon terrariums. That's absolutely true. 100% absolutely
Wow.
true.
Wow.
Look at that. You
Yeah.
got a little business
You got a little Shirley
little tycoon over there.
It's just
Yeah,
pretty
we're the wrong-
awesome.
We're the wrong person.
Yeah.
Mom, I don't want to work today. Just finish it.
We want to go on vacation. You finish that last
Like,
one.
do you want to go to Disneyland again? You will work on these things.
But, you know, isn't that a great lesson? You want to go to Disneyland? You got to work.
Yeah, you work hard and you get to go to Disneyland.
I mean, we did the Salt Lake FanX in April, and we had been working on building these terrariums since December, so it was a really good payoff for her. I feel like she learned a pretty good lesson, like, trying to instill an appreciation for money and hard work early on. That's something that my parents did for me, because I actually grew up on a farm. So I spent lots of time working and selling at farmers markets and stuff. So that's something that, I definitely want to teach my kids in the future that, you can use your talents to achieve your goals.
Yeah, you're definitely raising them right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and Erica's helping me with all my Kickstarter fulfillment. She's okay, and this is why issue 2 will not take as long. Erica sits behind me and times me now.
No.
she's like, Dad, you got 8 minutes to do that commission. 8 minutes, and if I start talking, she'll just, get on it, man.
She's so good.
She's good.
It's good. So you got a manager now, someone overseeing
I do.
a supervisor.
I do. The ultimate authority. My
That's
17-year-old.
Awesome. So Chad, I mean the same for you, man. What are you doing when you're not doing comics if you have time?
This is really funny. I will steal Jemma's husband. We'll go watch rated
What?
We'll go watch rated R movies. It's we'll go watch like Mad Max or John Wick or because
Deadpool.
Jemma's all Deadpool. Jemma's all PG-13 tops. And Jacob and I will we're all blood and guts, So and then I play Warhammer 40,000. It's the ultimate nerdy thing you can possibly be. In the caste system of nerds, we are the lowest caste. The Warhammer 40Kers are the lowest caste. I mean, we paint the miniatures, we get the rulers out,
Well, I'm probably pretty down on there too. I mean, I do tabletop role playing. I've painted my own little figurines too.
Well, that was one of her first jobs, was painting like armies. Like, it's amazing how connected we are in our nerddoms. But somebody called me out on Edith. They're like, that looks like an Eldar, which is a race in 40K.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, 40K. There's no way I've been playing this game for 35 years and it's not going to rub off.
Yeah.
You're going to see Star Wars. You're going to see Star Trek. You're going to see every science fiction influence ever on the planet, because I've seen them all. But yeah, hardcore like science fiction movies. Terminator. I don't. Jimmy, have you ever even seen an Arnold Schwarzenegger film? Have you ever seen an Arnold Schwarzenegger film?
Kindergarten Cop.
No, the Junior. Is that Arnold?
The what?
Junior?
I mean, it wasn't him.
Twins?
Anyway, no, she hasn't. Let me answer the quick one. But
I've seen Jingle All the Way.
There you go.
There you go.
Jingle All the Way. But for me, Terminator, Total Recall, just some of the the best cheesy sci-fi you could ever hope for. And I feel bad for this generation. I really do.
Yeah.
They have these movies that are so perfect, and then yet they still find flaws with them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you want a bad movie? Let's go watch Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys don't even know. Let's go watch Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
You don't know what a bad movie is. Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's good. It's good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think it's been a great show. I told you it goes by quick. We're almost to like an hour and a half. Yeah. I tell you, it goes by fast, man. We have fun. It goes by fast. We really appreciate you guys coming on. Again, everyone, if you get a chance, head over to Kickstarter. Helps, get this. Let's get this to 20K. I'd love to see this end at 20K. They're currently at 16,691 with 335 backers. Temerity #1, Galactic Mercenaries for Hire. So if you can, help back it, pledge it. I think this is a great book. Again, the artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Look at it. It's like you're actually in space.
Yeah, gorgeous. It really is.
It is.
Well done, guys. Wow. Just
well done. Well done. And if you can't back it and funds are low, remember, just share it. All you
Share
have to
it.
do is hit that
Absolutely.
share button, because you may know 1, 2, 20, 30, 50 people that, you know, are going to fall in love with this. So again, Jemma, Chad, thank you so much for coming on the show. And, you know, when the next one comes out, give us a ring and we'll get you back on. We'll talk
Thank
about
you
the
guys
next
so
project.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys so much for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Been
Yes,
fun
it's
too.
been great.
wonderful. It's our privilege, because it's a joy to talk to both of you guys, and the book is just gorgeous. It sounds brilliant. It looks phenomenal, and a lot of fun. Will you guys be going to any cons coming up, or any appearances or anything?
I'm going to San Diego.
Alright.
I'm going to be at the DC booth a lot. Wonder Woman, Come Back to Me, #1, and I don't know if they're launching the trade at the same time. But anyway, that's going on preview night, and so I'll be at the DC booth. But I'll also have. Our goal is to have at least an ash can of Temerity there, so you can come and you can look. I'll have the Art of Volume 1 and 2, and anything you buy for Art of Volume 1 and 2. The whole reason why we did that is to get money for this.
Nice.
So, you know, come by. I'll draw you a little, you know, do you a little doodle in the front of the books and crank those out to you. I think the first one we're doing together, Jim, are we trying to do Emerald City? Is that the one we're trying for, or we're both going to be together?
Yeah, probably. Oh, I might get into New York. I'm still waiting to hear back from New York.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Please-
That's pretty low. 'cause,
Jem, I'll be at New York, and Chad, I'll be at San Diego. So, Chad, please, when you walk to the DC booth through that B2C entrance, the entrance is right. My booth is the first booth you'll see. So please stop by, so I can hug and
they moved this year. They're going to be back behind Artist Alley. The Warner Brother DC booth is combined this year.
Oh, okay.
So they're right by Artist Alley. So everybody come to Artist Alley. Okay.
There you go. Well, swing by my booth. I want to say hello to you.
I will.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll get to New York, and we'll see you there in New York.
We'll be in New York.
Yeah, I know Chad's going to New York. I'm on the wait list for a table, so we'll see about that. It's pretty tight at New York because I guess the convention center is under construction, so a lot of people got turned down this year. But I'll be at Salt Lake FanX in September, and then together Chad and I will be at Emerald City, which is next year.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking
Chad,
forward.
do you do Baltimore at all?
I've never been invited. I only go to shows that invite me out because I'm a dick. I don't know. I don't know.
No, you can't get into that. You know, Chad, you've been doing this. I mean, you're a star. So you can't, you know, like New York's a little different. San Diego's obviously different, unless DC could bring you in and all, or your management can. But, like, you can't call these cons and say, hey, I'd like to do your show. You have to have it, because then they'll expect you to pay your way.
Right.
You've been doing this too long, and you have too high a profile, and you're too talented to do so. So I'll be angry at you if you start calling these cons that you want to go.
Yeah, I let them call me. And every time I go to a show, I get 5 or 6 people, and I'm like, please talk to Joy, my wife.
I know.
I love my fans, and I love seeing my fans, but cons are such a grind, guys. Oh,
they are, right. How about the night before?
I'm going to be driving 12 hours to get there.
Oh, wow.
In a Prius. I'm 6'2".
Oh, man.
200 pounds. I'm driving a Prius for
you
the
don't
love
look
of
like
business.
someone that would drive a Prius.
Well, otherwise, you're paying $7,000 in gas. You know.
See,
I mean,
Gemma's husband's got a badass pickup truck. You could tell. And then little Prius. I hope you go see your bloody monster movies and your Warner movies.
I hope Jimma knew that. I hope I didn't just give away what Jacob and I, you know. Hey, Jacob's going to come over and we're going to do something innocent. No, we're going to see it.
No, definitely not. I know you too well. You guys are like bros.
Good
Well,
times.
you guys are fantastic. This has been a real joy, hasn't it, Nile? I mean,
It has, man. It's been a good time. I'm so happy you guys were able to come on.
Yes.
You know, Frank Amazing and I, you know, we saw this on Kickstarter, and you know that's why we reached out to you guys as well, because we loved what we saw and we wanted to get you guys on to tell the story.
Thank you. We appreciate it so much, guys. Anything people can do to help, we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much. And as always, we have our crowdfunding call out. And for tonight's crowdfunding call out, we have Jason Brubaker's Sithra 5 and 6, the complete box set. So I'm going to play that video for you guys so you can check this. Actually, oh, yep, he does have
Hello, my name is Jason Brubaker, and I want to welcome you to the
And
world.
are we going to say goodbye, or are we going to watch it and then we'll say goodbye?
Correct. We'll watch it and then we'll say goodbye.
All right.
I've been working on Sithra for about 5 years now. It's 6 books long, and it's finally complete. Sithra was heavily inspired by Miyazaki's story. It's the story of a little girl
I'm watching it.
into the spirit world to try to find lost
looks
loved
nice,
ones
holy
and
cow.
deal with past demons. It is very close to my
Oh,
heart.
beautiful.
It is about the leap of faith to do something that is impossible. And now, the final 2 books in the Sithra series are done. They'll be printed as a beautiful hardcover with cloth binding, and there's even a box set edition of the entire series. I've gotten some printing quotes, and it looks like we're going to be spending about $12,000 for book 5 and $16,000 for book 6. Now, this doesn't count the slipcases, which are another $3,800. $10,000 is a very low shipping estimate, and then there's all the fees and taxes that come along with this kind of thing. This Indiegogo campaign will be the biggest sale I've ever had, with all my previous books at 50% off. You can get this whole 1,000-page story for just $99. Of course, you can always get the collector's edition with signed and numbered book plates. And you can even get your name printed in the book and a picture of you drawn in the book as well. For the super collectors, I only have about 450 box sets left, so grab one while you can. Now, because there's only so many copies of the previous books of Sithra still in print, if we sell out in this campaign, we sell out. Every single one of these books is first printing. This might be the only way you can get a complete set of Sithra. Like all the other campaigns of mine, we have an art contest going. So please submit your art while the campaign is going. The rules are in the campaign description. I would love to have some of your art in the back of Sithra 5 or 6. Now, I'm not new to this self-publishing thing. I love it. I've been doing it for years now. The only reason I've been able to make these books is because you guys have been supporting me every single campaign, and I really want to thank you for that. Thanks for joining me on this quest to complete the biggest project I've ever undertaken, and now I'm proud to present the complete Sithra.
Those are some amazing colors.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing looking book.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I was just thinking. Yeah.
The slipcases and everything. I'm taking notes, really.
Yeah, it's a great product.
That's
they
beautiful.
Have. Yeah.
It's amazing the talent, the variety of talent, and I wish I had the guts or the confidence to do that. Just have fun and do that, cartoony style. Just think outside of the box. I'm too dang regimented, and I wish I could. It just looks so much fun, and just to throw caution to the wind and give them something so unique, Just, wow.
Well, Billy, you probably faced the same thing I did. It's what editors wanted at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I was trying to break in, I had a very anime manga style, and the editors were like, "Nope, go back and change it." And then by the time I changed it, like Joe Mad was like the number one, the number one guy in comics. I'm like, wait, what happened to no manga, no anime? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, I think you're doing all right for yourself, bro. And again, Gemma, this has been wonderful meeting you and talking to you. And Chad, same as you, buddy. You're amazing. You really are.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, love your work.
you.
Huge fan. I'm loving everything you guys are doing. Again, thank you guys so much for being on the show. And everyone will. Oh, do you guys? Do you want to just before we go? Do you want to spit out your Twitters or anything like that? Any way people can follow you?
I think I'm Hardin Art on Instagram. That's the entertaining one. That's where all the pictures are. Go to Instagram. Hardin Art _art.
Gemma?
And for me, it's Jemma M Young, and that's for Twitter and Instagram. They're the same.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, make sure to follow them and all the great things they're doing. And as always, Billy, it's been another wonderful show. Very exciting, great night. And we'll do it again tomorrow.
We sure will.
We will. 9 o'clock.
Thank you, guys. Great to see you, and great to see everybody out there. Thank you guys for coming. Please give them a like.
Yes.
Please go to the page, share it, the Kickstarter campaign, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Great luck to you.
All right. Good luck with the rest of your campaign, guys. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell, you may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon. Yeah, just hang on 1 second.